We have 5 senses in life. We have 5 senses. And Frankie lost one. I went to a couple of gigs, a couple of functions. It's very loud for an old man like me, but I did enjoy it. I liked the mixing, and I thought it was the thing he does with the faders very impressed me. And the Frankie loved the crowd. He worked the crowd, very similar to what I do here on a packed Shabbos, on the Sabbath, when we have a full house. I work the crowd. It's part of my job. And obviously, if they have a good time, they come back next week. And I think Frankie picked this up from me. And I'm not saying that if he hadn't come to the synagogue and I wasn't his rabbi, he'd never got into DJing. But if I wasn't his rabbi and he hadn't come to synagogue, he never got into DJing, never. Frankie, he grew up in the synagogue. He was a very, very, very good student of the Yiddish. He's a fascinating boy. Very kind boy, beautiful eyes. We had a trip to the Holy Land many years ago when Frankie was 14, maybe 13, but post bar mitzvah. And we went to Jerusalem. We went to Jerusalem, the holy city, with Frankie. And we were walking in the shuk, the Arab market. And we're looking at the crucifixes. He saw the crucifixes, and he was very inquiring mind. He said, "How much is the crucifix?" The fella said, $100. And Frankie said, "Okay, how much without the acrobat?" The thing with Frankie, religion was like a drug. And in Ibiza, you can't get the sidurs, you can't get the prayer books. So he took different drugs. I travelled to the Ibiza island, the Ibiza island, to speak to Frankie as his rabbi, and I spoke to him at length. 45 minutes, and it was up to Frankie to take on board what I had to say to him or not. He wasn't looking at me when I was talking to him. No one went in. I only heard nothing. But then I had to leave. I had a plane to catch, and I'd done my thing. I got paid for the trip. I'm not going to hang about. Did his faith help him in this dark time, you mean? Yes and no. More no, but with a little bit of yes. Some of the finest characters in the Bible found themselves in very dark places. Very, very dark places. And through that darkness, there comes the light. And the light shines brighter. If you're saying you go into a dark place and you're a 20-watt bulb, the bulb's a 20-watt, you can go through a dark place, come out a much brighter bulb, a halogen lamp. You go from a dimly lit nightclub, you can get like McDonald's with a proper lighting, with the strips. When you look in the Torah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, they all had hard times. They all had tough choices to make. Moses, with the tablets. They all had tough choices. Nothing come easy. Nebuchadnezzar, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. You know, when the rabbis, you have the quotes that sound a bit stupid, but the less he could hear, the more he could understand in a funny way. You understand? Yeah. And the less he could understand, the more he could hear. And the more he could hear, the less he could taste. And the less he could taste, the more he could see. I think it's a good education for the boy. And I said to him, Frankie, this is good for you because you're back to basics. You're back to basics. You gotta look search into your soul and survive with your spirit. I said that to him. He didn't hear me because he was deaf.